Had I not gone through, sort of a rough background, I'm not sure I'd be able to be the singer that I am today. I think that, coming from something that makes you feel so deeply and sometimes so painfully really, really gives you that place, that gut-ridden, soulful space that you can just draw everything from there on out. My earliest memory of being completely drawn to and inspired, I guess I've come to learn is the word, at such a young age, to music was when I was 6 years old, living in Japan, and I completely was taken with the sound of music. Watching Julie Andrews' initial shot, so free and so alive and so just open and uncaring of anybody else being around or anybody hearing her or watching her. She was alive and free in those hills and singing out to herself. It felt to the universe. I was at the time, growing up on an army base, and my actual childhood was a little chaotic growing up, and it really moved me to just get something out of me. It like reached into me, and it was a form of expression for me. I think at such a young age, and feeling a little lost in the chaos that was in my home or in my environment, it was my form of release. I wanted to be her in that movie, and I would go up into my bedroom, and I would open my window, and I would pretend I was her, and I would just sing out to the world. It was then that I guess, looking back, I realized my dream, and that was my dream, to become a singer and speak my truth, sing from my heart, my soul. And that at 5, 6 years old was my first introduction to my love of music. As I got a little older, my mother and father had gotten a divorce, and we moved in with my grandma at the time. And this was out of Pittsburgh. And I remember her sort of bringing it to my mom's attention. She's going through the divorce, things are, a little chaotic still. And my grandma was like, she's got a real talent here. I mean, she knew I did things like, spread towels on the floor in the bathtub and use the shampoo bottle as my icophone, I would call it. But, it was really my grandma that was like, you should really let her perform for people. She was so proud. She was my proud grandma that she would probably bring strangers off the street to come in the front door to show me off, or, she was a proud grandma. But she sort of opened the door for me to experience my ultimate love, what would become my true love of music, which was soul, blues, and jazz music. We would go and take these, road trips. It was me, my mom, my grandma, and my little sister, and we would go into the city of Pittsburgh, and we would take road trips out there and go for a drive and go to these old record stores and just sift through record after record of, it was the dusty vinyls. But this was my first introduction to what I felt was real music, and that was the beginning of me then getting in touch with my soul, my ultimate heart and passion, because on those records, even though we started back with The Hills Are Alive and Julie Andrews, this was the moment where I discovered real pain and being moved by emotion in these singers that sang the blues and soul, these Billie Holidays and your Nina Simone, Sarah Vaughan, and Big Mama Thornton, and there's, oh my God, the list is so long. Etta James, I would soon to discover this plethora of incredible talent and these voices that were just so raw and just came from that gut-ridden internal place that does not care about a perfect note or a perfect record or a perfect take or recording in the studio with, you know, any kind of perfection. These were singers that were singing from their gut, and it was raw and it was real, and I loved every second of it. My all-time favorite singer, I think, has to be Etta James, because she was just straight up raw and raspy and boisterous and sassy. You know, she had just this natural spunk she exuded. And actually, it's something that I had absorbed for many years and whatnot, and I had never really had a raspy quality to my voice. Eventually, you grow into that, but the years of being on the road and whatnot. But you know, it's a side to my voice that I've always been interested in exploring and finding where does that come from, and it's a different texture, and textures are so important. Like, nobody wants to hear a song from top to bottom that's like, okay, we're gonna sing this way and this loud and all of that. Like, people want to hear you pull back and be soft and then be loud and then you know, like just they want to hear different. A journey within the story that you're telling, even if it's one solid melody and it's one note, you know, to feel that crescendo, pull back, all of that. And that's what these singers did. They told stories. Nina Simone is somebody that I recommend all singers, no matter what genre or style of music you are. Take note of Nina and go back and listen to her records, because this woman is no joke. I mean, she has one song, No Me Quitte Pas. That's a French song that is just, it's very still and it's very sad. No me quitte pas. No, 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 no. It's a whole song that I don't even know what it means, because I don't speak French, but it's one of my favorite songs, because the way that she sings it and tells the story, and she's not even embellishing a whole lot. She's not ad-libbing or riffing or singing her face off and like hitting all these notes. It's not that at all. It's so simple and it's so beautiful. It's moving and it's touching, and you can just, whatever she's saying, you feel the pain in her voice, and that is what resonates and connects with people, and that is what moves people and touches people. You know, I mean, you listen to the radio a lot, you know, we're all in our own bubbles and worlds of like, go, 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 but it's these singers sometimes that, you know, at the end of the day, you're alone in a room, you put some headphones on or CD player, iPod, whatever you have, okay? Tap into this and just listen to them, because the things that you feel will help you digest. It'll get into your body, it'll get into your soul and connect with who you're trying to convince, whether it's a label to sign you, whether it's an audience that you want to connect with and you just want to reach in and grab them. It doesn't even matter sometimes what you're singing about if you can feel it and find truth in it. And that's why truth is so important to me, because if you can connect yourself with it and know yourself and where you're singing from, you can make anything believable. I listened to the Whitneys and I listened to the Mariahs and I listened to these records that were more current and had a little more energy in the delivery of an ad-lib and this and that and splitting it up, and I would digest that, sponge, take it in. And so that showed up on, you know, a lot of my early records and definitely was an influence for me. So when I met with Linda Perry for the first time for my stripped record, when everything was supposed to be about truth, you know, she was a tough cookie, man. I mean, I've seen her make grown men pee in their pants. She's a force to be reckoned with, and not everybody can handle. You know, she's balls to the wall. She's honest. She's direct. She will tell you if it just sucks to your face, straight up. And sometimes you'll run across these people, but she comes from such a place of truth and pain and passion, and you can just feel it in a room with her. When she sits down at a piano, when she sings herself, her whole energy that you get from her speaks truth. And so I trust her. I trusted her, And, you know, her first conversation was, I mean, what's all that like running? And I was like, that's my ad-lib, that's a part of me. Like, that's what I like to do, that's how I love to sing, you know, it's a big influence. She was like, cut it. She's like, I want to hear what you sound like, no strings attached, no la-di-da-di, you know, all these fancy things. I want to hear what you sound like, just raw and real. And honestly, as much as I hated to hear that, I did it, and I found a completely different side of myself that I'd never knew existed vocally and emotionally, because she taught me to just forget everything I knew before for a second and explore being super simple. I mean, I'm beautiful. Every day is so wonderful. Suddenly, it's hard to breathe. There's no ad-libs in that. It's the most simple melody, but it's so powerful and so beautiful because it is just speaking truth in a different way. And it was an argument between her and I, the recording of Beautiful, because I wanted to do take after take after take after take and exhaust myself and exhaust the ears in the room. And I was like, but this has to be perfect, but this note has to be great, but this note has to da-da-da-da. And she was like, sing it from top to bottom and just sing it. And, you know, mistakes and all, there was like a crack here and there, whatever. And I got so, you know, there's the beginning of the song where I kind of whisper, don't look at me. And somebody was in the room that I was like being shy with, and I was like, okay, because I need to be in my box, in my little private area to sing Every Day is So Wonderful, and suddenly it's hard to breathe. Now and then I get insecure from all the pain. I'm so ashamed. Like, those are really vulnerable, powerful statements to make for somebody that likes to have walls up and guards up. But in that song, at the beginning, you know, the whisper is so important because it was something that was so in my private box that I would never keep on a record. And she kept it, and she kept the entire take after that. So that take you hear for Beautiful is a one-take vocal. I didn't like it. It took time to grow on me, but she taught me to appreciate the beauty and imperfections. And that is truth. And that could be appreciating a freckle on your face. It's appreciating you for who you are and embracing your imperfections and your insecurities and things we try to cover up with makeup, with spray tan, whatever it may be. These are things that we all want to hide because we all want to be so perfect. But sometimes it's really those things inside of you that make you yourself unique that will speak volumes to the rest of the world and maybe be your biggest hit ever.